Hello and welcome to this Kennel Connection training video. This video is going to explain how you set up runs in your database so that you can use them for boarding, grooming, daycare, and training appointments. You may call runs cages or kennels, it's all the same thing. So the first thing we need to do is set up our options, and that's under File and System Options. And we're going to go to Boarding. So this very first checkbox, require run numbers, this is how you turn it on. So once you check this box, then you're not able to save a boarding appointment without adding a run. This also turns on the checking feature, so that if you choose a run for an appointment, Kennel Connection will check and see if there are other pets booked into that run already. It will let you know, and then you decide how you would like to proceed. You can turn this off and still be able to add runs to appointments, but that turns off the checking system. So Kennel Connection no longer does that. It's something you'd have to keep up with. We have this option to allow reservations of booked runs. So if you turn this on, whenever you're on an appointment and you want to choose a run, you can choose one that's already occupied. So if that's a concern, you can turn this off, meaning that nobody can choose somebody that's a run that already has a pet in there. But we're going to show you how it works. So we're going to leave it turned on. Then we have this option to consider runs that have pets going home at any time as available. So this is for when Kennel Connection tries to find a run. It will, if there's a run with a pet going home or checking out, then that run is considered open, and it will put the pet in that run. It doesn't matter if the pet checks out at 8 in the morning or 8 at night, it's considered open. So if you think that's a concern, that's also something that you could turn off. Over here on the right, you can also tell it what day of the week that your run glance starts. So the run glance is a screen that has all your runs, and it shows who's in what run, some color coding. This is just how you decide what day of the week it starts with. Now down here for daycare, the only thing we have to do on here is down at the bottom under Show on Schedule, we were going to check this run column. This is what shows the runs on the daycare schedule, so you can see who's booked in what run. So now that you have your options, the next step is to actually set up the number of runs. That's under File and Lists. So we're going to go to the run sizes first. So when you get Kennel Connection, it comes with a small, medium, and large. You can rename these if you want. You can add as many run sizes as you like. So we're going to do one for our giant breeds. So anytime you add a new run size, you want to be sure you hit New. And we're going to call it Giant Breed. Now if I charge by runs, I'm going to do a price now, and then I'm going to do a type. So the type is for the count on the boarding schedule. There's a field for cat runs and dog runs, and that's what this is for. That doesn't mean if I set this up as a dog that I could not put a cat in a dog run and vice versa. It's just for the count on the schedule. Now if you do multiple pet rates where you give discounts for the rest of the pets, you can go ahead and do that at this time, and then you just save it. And again, you can add as many as you'd like. So now that I have my runs, sizes, I'm going to go to the Runs tab. This is where I set up my actual number of runs. You can name them any combination of letters and numbers, whatever makes sense when you're actually making an appointment that you know what the run is. So you see I have some that are just numbered, and then down here I have some with some lettering, whatever you'd like to do. You can add as many runs as you'd like. So I'm going to add run number 9. I don't have that in here. So we're going to do New Run always. Now if you'll notice, it has run number 1 and 8 together, and that's because it's numbered 01, 02, 03. So when Kennel Connection sorts this list, it's sorting it by that first letter or first number. So if I were to put a 9 here, 9 would be way down at the bottom with the other 9s. But I want it up here with 1 through 8, so I'm going to call it 09. Then I have to tell it what size it is, and this is how it attaches the pricing. So maybe this is a small. I also have to tell it what module this is good for. So for example, if I could only use this for boarding, that's the only thing I'm going to check. Then I'm going to save. But if you have runs that can be used for all the modules, you just want to be sure you turn them on or check the boxes. So now that you have your runs turned on, now it's time to actually use them. So we're going to go to our boarding schedule, and these are all the appointments for the day. I have this sorted by run, which is nice, so that's the order that they show in. Some of the reports that you print would be in order by run 2. Exercise report, feeding report, your logs, things like that. So we're going to add an appointment for Molly and Polly here. And they're going to stay for about a week or so. So there's a couple of different ways to choose a run. The first way is you come in your drop down and you choose the run that you want. So we're going to say run number 16. So this is the check. Remember, we have required run numbers turned on, so Kennel Connection has already checked and it knows that there are other pets already booked into this run. So it's asking me, what would I like to do? So my options are, it can let me go back to the booking screen and I can choose whatever run I want. I can board them together, even though they have two different owners. But we're going to do find an alternate available run. So when I click this, Kennel Connection is going to try to find a run available for these dates. Now this is the pop-up, and what that means is there is no suite open for the entire stay. So like run number 17, let's say, is a suite. That's not open the entire time. So now it's asking if it wants me, if I want to let it piece together run. I'm going to say yes. So this is what comes up. So what it's telling me is for July 21st and July 22nd, there are no suites available for those days. So it's going to want to put them in an NRA. So NRA stands for no runs available. It's a way to keep the appointment on your active boarding list, but there's no run assigned to it. So if you're going to use the NRA feature, you need to realize that if a pet does not check out early or you have no cancellations, you have to have somewhere to put these pets. So maybe you have an overflow cage or an extra room you can put them in. If your facility absolutely does not have room for any extra pets anywhere, then you don't want to use the NRA feature because you would need to put these pets somewhere. And then it's just going through and it says, hey, for July 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I can put these guys in run number 20. The 26th and 27, I can put them in 16. So that's how it's trying to piece together a run. So we're actually going to hit no here. I don't want to use the NRA feature. The other way to do this is you're going to go on the view button. So the first thing you want to do is go back to all, because that way you can see all of your runs in there. If you had just suite, you would only see the couple of suites that we have. So we're going to click the view button. This is all the runs that you have in your database, and if it's in purple, that means somebody's already booked in that run. So you can go here and you can click on the days that you want, the runs. Now if you remember back in system options, we had that allow reservations of booked runs, and that's what this is doing. So if I had that turned off, I would not be able to click on this purple, meaning somebody's already booked there. But I have it turned on, so I'm able to click. But you can basically move them around however you want into the view button. You just click the runs that you want and reserve. We also have this view run glance, which is kind of nice because it's more information about what's going on with your runs. So this lets you know if somebody is checking out or they're checking in, or who's in what run, that kind of stuff. You're not able to choose the run here. It's just so you can visually see what's going on. So maybe I know run number 2 is open, then I can go and choose that. Now the multi-pets is where you can come in and add different runs for the pets. So at this stage, maybe these guys can't be together, so I'm going to put one in number 5. So that's something that you could do here. I'm actually going to cancel out of here. So this is your boarding. That's how you do the run. So the next step is we would go into grooming. So grooming appointments, if you need to add a run, you would go open the appointment. Either open or when you're making it, and it's on the recur pickup delivery tab. We have this view runs right here. All this does is it shows you the runs that you have that are marked to be available for grooming, and if somebody's already in there, they're in purple. So I'm going to choose this run because that's open. And this run will print on, say, the groom card if you print that report. Then for daycare, if you'll notice, we have a column for daycare for runs here in the second column. And we turned that on so we could see it. So maybe Gino needs to go into a run. So you go into the appointment. This is at the top right. You just click the view runs. And again, it just shows you if somebody's already in there, and we'll choose maybe 29 for him. Now for training, resident training means that the pet is also boarding with you. So if you require run numbers, your resident training pets or appointments are required to choose a run to. And don't forget, this is how you set it up in runs. You have to tell it you can use it for training. So you would just come through, and these are all the runs that I can use for training. And you choose whichever one you'd like. Now there are two other schedules that you can look at under schedule. So one is your run glance. So these are all the runs that you have in your database for this week. And it just kind of shows you what's going on. So we have some color coding in here. If you'll see, for example, Yodel down here is in dark green, meaning that he's checking out in the morning. So that's a good, if you're going to book somebody in a run that has somebody going home, this is a good example because he's supposed to check out before noon, sometime in the morning. Versus if you look at Mama over here, she's color-coded that she's checking out in the afternoon. So maybe you don't want to put another pet in there, just in case she leaves later. You can also see details of who's in there, the pets, their breeds if they have a breed assigned. We also have this orange color. This just means that appointments are either coming when somebody's checking in and somebody's checking out, or somebody's checking in and there's already a pet in that run, and so on. It doesn't necessarily mean it's different family pets. It's more who's checking in and who's checking out. Now you're also able to move the pets through the screen. So maybe down here for Yodel, I need to move him for these last 2 days. So you double click on the name and it's asking you what dates do you want to move. So you check off the dates you want. You can choose a different run here just from the drop down, and it assigns both the runs, or you can click over here and move to run and choose a different run. So maybe he needs to go into 24. So now he's been moved. So instead of 18 or wherever he was, now he's down in 21R and so forth. On the run glance, it's important to note that if their appointment is more than a week, you can only move them for a week at a time in here. If you have multiple pets in a run, you can also move those all at the same time. So this actually has 3 different pets. So I'm going to double click on here, and I have to tell it which pet I want to move. So I'm going to try to move all of them. And then again, you have to tell it what day. So maybe I only need to move these guys just on that first day. And we're going to put them up, well, let's say run number 9, because that looks like it's open. So now these guys have moved up to run number 9. It's as easy as that. The other schedule that you have is the month glance. So these are all the runs in your database for the entire month, and it just has an X if they're already occupied. Somebody's already in there. So some places like to print this out and post it. You just can't see details on here and move the pet through the screen. Now there are a couple of reports associated with runs, so let's go and look at those. That's under reports and boarding. The first report is called Move Pet Report. And this will be, we have to open our schedule. So this report is just telling us on this day, July 21st, are there any pets that need to move to a different run? So let's see what that looks like. So these are my appointments for the day. It's just letting me know, like Frank here's, Whistler is in run number 3 and he needs to move to number 4, for example. Also under boarding, under occupancy, we have run availability. So maybe I want to print this out for a week. It's going to let me know how many runs I have open. And I can choose some options like all runs that somebody is checking out, or do I only want runs where somebody has already checked out? So you have some options here. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So this is just an example. So it's telling me on July 21st I have 9 large cat runs open. 12 large are open, so forth. For my cat medium, on the 21st I have 3 open, but on the 22nd I only have 2. So that just helps you kind of plan your day, or if you're going for appointments or whatnot. The last report we'll look at is under occupancy. It's called Run Summary. And this is just letting you know for the day, who do you have in what run. So it's just everybody on the schedule. It tells you who it is, the breed if they have it, and also the dates of their appointment. So that's all you need to know to be able to set up runs and use them in your database. If you have questions on this, please let us know. Our number is 888-486-4343 and we're at option 2. Or you can email us at support@kennelconnection.com. Thanks for watching.